What is my trading like? What shall I compare it to? My trading is like two men who set out upon a course. After some walking, they notice the path ahead begins to look treacherous. Realizing it is filled with ditches, barbed wire, hills, and other dangerous obstacles, one man decides to play it safe and sit comfortably by a bench under the shade of a tree. The other, being much more adventurous, decides to venture onward. His reasoning is simple. Way off in the distance, beyond all the barriers, he can see the faint outline of a $5 bill. He seeks not only the money, but also the excitement of claiming this elusive prize. He presses onward while his friend decides to relax on the bench by the shade of the tree. The terrain is much more arduous than first anticipated. It is filled with ditches, walls, fences, incredibly steep inclines, and barbed wire crawls through mud. Many hours go by, and just as the sun is about to set, the adventurer begins to make his way back, but in no way, shape, or form like his prior self. With his tattered clothes and bruised body, he can barely pull himself to the meeting place to meet up with his friend once again. When he finally arrives, he is beaten down, frustrated, sweating, bleeding, starving, and outright exhausted. Not only is he bruised and drained, but to make things worse, our traveler lost his wallet in his effort to obtain the $5 bill in the field. He must have lost it somewhere when he was crawling through the mud. Just at this time, a large truck pulls up. The driver gets out and drops a sack of money just by the side of the road. He smiles at the men and invites them to take all that they would like before he drives away. Our explorer is so exhausted and beaten up, he can barely move. His friend, however, relaxed and refreshed, calmly walks over and grabs his treasure. While this sounds extreme, it's the best analogy I can think of to describe my trading. The average person has got it backwards. They think more trading leads to more money. They think more action and excitement means bigger returns. But is this need for constant action really worth it? In fact, it's what does most traders in. They literally destroy their accounts and psyches fighting for $5 bills in treacherous terrain. When the market is hot, they are either too broke or emotionally destroyed to actually enjoy it. Remember, everyone makes money in a bull market. The strong uptrends are easy to navigate. The key is to avoid the bear markets and corrections that destroy the majority of traders. Bearish markets are of a completely different character than bull markets. Because they are driven by fear, bear markets can be choppy, news-driven, volatile, and outright dangerous. There will be rapid moves to the downside followed by head-turning counter moves. It is a choppy, hazardous environment, very much like the obstacle course described earlier. If and when you encounter one, you'd be best advised to simply avoid it at all costs. While trading can be exciting, having the patience to wait for the best opportunities is what matters most. Think about Ted Williams. The legendary baseball player was the last man to hit 400 in a season, batting .406 in 1941. Now, what type of hitter was Ted Williams? He was a very patient and disciplined one. He wouldn't just swing at any pitch. He'd wait for the fat pitch right over the center of the plate. See, Williams was an expert at the science of hitting. He calculated that he had a low probability of getting a hit on balls that were low and away, and a high probability of getting a hit on balls that were right over the plate. He decided he would only swing at these pitches since he knew waiting for them would lead to his success. Now let me ask you this. Would you want a baseball player on your team who swung at every pitch? Would you think he'd have a high batting average with that type of strategy? Do you think the manager would want him at the plate in the World Series? Of course not. Just like Ted Williams, you need to have the discipline to wait for the high probability plays if you want to be successful. This concept not only applies to trading and the baseball field, it also applies to the jungle. Have you ever heard about how lions hunt? It's truly fascinating. As the king of the jungle, you'd think that reputation would stem from lions fighting the biggest and strongest animals they would encounter. Think again. Lions are extremely intelligent. They know how to be patient. See, what a lion does is stalk its prey. They stay hidden and wait for just the right moment. In fact, they often don't just choose any animal and instead look for weak and slow animals. The reasoning is simple. The lion knows they are out hunting in the heat. They can't risk using up too much energy. If they were out running all day trying to hunt each and every animal, they would be exhausted by noon from all the sprinting in the scorching African sun. A strategy like this would most definitely lead to starvation. Instead, they look for the high odds play. They save their energy for just the right moment. Use this example in your trading. Stop trying to catch every minor move or trade every day like you are working for a Fortune 500 company. Learn to sit tight. Learn to be patient. Learn to be disciplined. And at the just right moment, learn to be readied for the day when there will be money right there sitting in the corner, and all you have to do is pick it up.